Shakalaka! The Knicks are grit. These kids and our party just lit. Bet it's the littest. Cut. You know we lit. Cut. You know we lit. You know we lit. You know we lit. Turn up, no we lit. Turn up. You know we lit. Let's go deep dive. You know we lit. Mr. Slipshot. You know we lit. Kev, what up? You know we lit fresh, that's the Pearly Lord. You know we lit Knickerbocker, have a talk. Let's go! We lit.
Yo. Good evening, everyone. I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Ave. It's time to talk that Knicks and Ish. I'm currently flying solo at the moment because everyone is out and about. I will be joined very shortly by my compatriots, my fellow panelists. So please do me a favor, support your boy real quick. Hit like, hit comment, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell on your YouTube, so that way you get notified every time Knicks and Ish comes on. And then you can join us. You can be part of the party. Of course, it's not celebratory because the New York Knicks did lose. But let's do some quick housekeeping real quick. I see my boy Matty Ice is always there. Yeah, 2 nail biters in a row. What can we say? So let's just do the quick rundown. The New York Knicks fall once again to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Final score 111-100. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander once again. What is it with his NBA leading 134th game in a row, scoring 20 points or more. He finished with 30 on 8 for 18 shooting. But let's go down the run. So the Knicks have lost, both games to the Thunder. This is the third year in a row. The last time they won was 3 years ago. Jalen Brunson doing the same captain things, 32 points. He was pretty much the only one that had it going tonight. He had a tough assignment on defense, and he had someone guarding him pretty much the entire time. Karl-Anthony Towns, 15 points on 34 minutes, but he had 18 rebounds. Both he and Brunson had 4 turnovers apiece. Not a great shooting night for OG Anunoby, 2 for 9 shooting, 10 points, 3 assists. Mikal Bridges fouled out with 15 points, 4 steals. Josh Hart is impressing me each and every game. His ability to still pack the stats regardless of how he's shooting, regardless of how he's of what his opposition is. He's still doing filling the stat everywhere he goes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as I mentioned before, on 8 for 18 shooting, had 30 points. Jalen Williams had 22, and Chet Holmgren 16 and 9. It was a pretty tight-knit game, kind of like pretty well fought. Both teams didn't really particularly shoot the ball very well to start this game. I felt that the Knicks, their shooting was a little bit flat. Deuce McBride did come back tonight, but then had to exit the game, I believe around midway through the second or third quarter. He played 11 minutes, did not score, went 0 for 3 shooting. If you missed the game, look at that number: 31 for 38 from the line versus 13 for 17. That's what the Knicks average, more or less. Bench scoring wasn't really much of a deal here, but OKC did get out on the open floor and pretty much controlled the paint. Cat was a lone man down there, and Mitch Robb didn't really contribute tonight. But we did see a little bit of the hack of Mitch a little bit, but he still hit one of those free throws. The Knicks did take care of the offensive glass, but after that, I mean, that's going to be that number that Mrs. Knicks, who was in attendance at OKC, that's going to be that that number that's going to always haunt her, and it's probably going to let her disturb her sleep for a little bit. Yeah, this game was not pretty. The Knicks did fight. But there are no such things as moral victories in the NBA. It's either you win or you lose. And I will say this: the New York Knicks tonight, they fought. I think they match up pretty well against OKC, even despite what the records show and everything like that. But I really do think that in a playoff series, it will not be an easy out under any circumstance. Yeah, Maddie. I did hear the fire back from on Stephen A, but we'll talk about that another time. Quick housekeeping. Randu, what's good, my brother? And she's always here. Darlene, we love you. We love you so much. Thank you for always joining us. What do you guys think? I really feel that the Knicks fought the good fight. They just ran out of gas and they fell flat tonight. I wish that there was an easier way to say this. I think that the defensively it was there. OKC did not have a lot of open shots. They did have some. Alex Caruso and company. They were able to do what they can do. Alex Caruso is an underrated player to me. Keeson Wallace did pretty well on the defensive end with Brunson in 15 minutes. You also saw a little bit of matchups of Dort with with Brunson. But really, this does put a damper on things because as most of you already know, the Boston Celtics did clinch a playoff berth. With everything being as it stands currently today, the Boston Celtics are we know that they're at number 2. However, we're now we're 3 behind in the loss column, and with games running out, 7 games left, Knicks have to make up some heavy ground. And it's there. It's very much possible. The Knicks can, probably upset the Boston Celtics, but they just have to do it. And with the upcoming schedule being what it is, it's prime picking. They just need to stop mailing it in like they have been over the last couple of weeks. I know that a lot of people have made a lot of emphasis on that. They've been talking about, especially on this panel, the Knicks, playing down to their competition, verbiage being using excuse me, them playing down to their competition, playing with their food, things of that sort. That's unfortunately what's really happening. But in this case, they're playing the NBA champions, and they just did not execute. I do want to say thank you, Mike Brown, for finally getting a technical foul, for something of note. I'm pulling up the standings and the schedule for you guys, just so you can have an idea. Apologies that I am doing this solo and I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but it's not as easy as it is when you're doing this by yourself, when you have all your compatriots. Definitely. Thank you, Nico. God bless you too. The rotations will definitely be sure to come into the playoffs. Maddie, we all know that. We've known that very much, that that's just kind of standard operating procedure with all NBA teams. It comes down to the playoffs. They're just going to do that. And then, there goes the standings right there. We're now 2.5 behind the Boston Celtics. And so, yeah, with the schedule being what it is, the remaining schedule, I mean, it's possible. It's there. All they have to do, they have to obviously beat Boston on the 9th. And they got to win some of these games, but it's not going to be easy because, you're looking at Houston. They're still playing pretty well. Memphis might be a trap game. Chicago might be a trap game. Atlanta's still fighting for a playoff spot. Toronto's playing for a playoff spot. The Hornets are still fighting for a playoff spot. So where does, how do you see this? over the next 7, can the Knicks make up enough ground? That's the question. And how do you feel about that? Because me personally, I'm a little concerned. I see nothing but trap games and a couple of meetings with with heavyweight contenders that are trying to fight for their playoff lives. And so when you're dealing with that kind of thing, and you know that the Knicks have been mailing it in against their competition, it's like, I wish I could be talking shit. I really wish if the Knicks won, this would be a whole lot more energy. But how do you make sense of this? How do you feel confident going into the NBA playoffs, knowing that the Knicks haven't been playing at their 100% full effort? You don't know what's going to happen with Deuce now, because he tried to give it a go for 11 minutes and it didn't get anywhere. But how's this going to work? Is this the lineup we're going to be going with? And who gets the minutes and who doesn't? And how much more different is it going to be from Coach Tibbs? Really? That's the good question. Be sure to hit up a super chat if you think I'm doing a good job by myself right now. Again, I'm waiting for. I know Mrs. Knicks will be joining us. She always does. She's probably fighting some OKC Thunder fans on the way to the parking lot. But it's a question. Do you feel confident? Maddie, you mentioned it earlier about the Stephen A. Smith thing, and his response to Josh Hart. First of all, what Josh Hart said is something that we kind of already knew. He doesn't know the fact. Stephen A. Smith hasn't talked to him. He's not close to the Knicks players. He's not close to many players. If you haven't noticed it constantly on a consistent basis, there have been more and more NBA players, big names, huge names, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, all these guys, they're all calling him out. They're all calling him out for the things he says, because we have to remember something about Stephen A. Smith. As much as I personally respect him as a journalist and, for being a media personality and everything that he does to contribute to the sports talking world, you can feel what you want to feel about him. That's all good, and it's all well and good. Me personally, I respect that. Here's where I kind of like differentiate from everyone else, because at the same time, I agree that he sounds like a fake Knicks fan. I don't doubt that he grew up in Hollis, Queens. I don't doubt that he's a Knicks fan. But he's a personality. It's kind of like professional wrestling. He has to play the heel. He has to be that loudmouth person. He has to be that voice of the voiceless. Yeah, another wrestling reference. But that's who he is. He's a personality. He's a brand. If you really want to know what he really truly feels, catch him in a corner somewhere, if you ever find him there. Catch him in the hood if he's ever there. I don't take everything he says. I don't take anything he says seriously. I may react to it. I may personally even take offense to it. I may laugh at it, if I find it entertaining. But under no circumstance do I ever take Stephen A. Smith I don't take him seriously. He's a personality. And, while we're on that note, just because you talk negatively or positively about the Knicks at any given point, I don't be immediately like, oh yeah, I'm pro this guy. Like I don't get behind Perk. I don't get behind anybody like Brian Windhorst or anybody like that. No. Or anybody who talks positively about the Knicks. Because if you're going to talk positively about the Knicks, talk about them because you know what's going on. You're paying close attention. I don't think they are. Their job does not allow them to. They have to be paying attention to this, and this. They're watching 30 games at once, plus maintaining their social brand. So I really hope that we don't have to keep on having to react to everything that Stephen A. Smith says, because honestly, we know what real Knicks fans are talking about. Y'all do as well. Y'all walk the streets. Y'all be in the message boards. Y'all be in social media. You follow who you like. You like them for being real and genuine and being dead ass New Yorker or whatever the situation is. But to be honest with you, I stopped listening to a lot of sports, mainstream sports media for that very reason. Don't get me wrong. If it pops up on my YouTube every now and then, my feed, I'll watch it just to see what they say. But we know this team better than they do. We watch them every day. We follow them we rise with them and we fall with them. So we have to stop worrying about what the talking heads on ESPN or FSNY or even sometimes on MSG, because sometimes they be doing it too. But we'll give them the pass because we see them every day. But if you ever really just keep on reacting to everything that Stephen A. Smith says, shame on you, because you have a brain. One of my best friends, Steve, always says we want to provoke the original thought. I want to know what you think, and tell me why you think it, as opposed to what you heard from Stephen A. Smith or what you heard from fucking Mad Dog or what you heard from Chris Russo or what you heard from whatever. And build your we have this beautiful thing called YouTube and the freedom of speech and the freedom to think. Why don't you start utilizing that? Don't worry about what Stephen A. Smith says. Bankrupt their whole fucking that whole freaking channel, because hell, their presentation sucks anyway. And it's because of them that we're paying now for Peacock Prime, ESPN. So you're taking my money. So fuck you. I hope I cleared that up for you. Man, this is tough doing it by yourself. Please, to be sure, again, hit like, comment, and subscribe to Knicks and Ish. I swear these guys are going to be here. They all told me that they would, but I'm sure that either life be lifing. What's going on here in the comments? Pepe Rodriguez, what's going on? How you doing? Okay, I'm not alone by myself anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You know him. You've probably been waiting for him, and it's like, thank God he's here. Mr. Cap Rodriguez.
Jesus Christ. My bad, y'all. Sorry I'm late.
Dude, you had me drowning here by myself. I was struggling. Well, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Fucking tough game, bro.
All right. So what's your initial reaction to this game?
You know, I I I like how we was going back and forth with them, right? But it's like almost like you have to play like mistake free basketball when it comes to OKC. You basically, to win a game, you just gotta blow them out. That's it. Because anytime you even stay close, it's like, and I hate to say this because I feel like when it comes to the refs, it's and SGA and just in general OKC, it's like, yo, the free throw disparity was ridiculous, bro. It was ridiculous. Um it seemed like every time we try to get back in the game, it was something to like, the it would take our momentum away. And we couldn't really keep a lead. I think we went up one point, and then after that, that was it. We couldn't keep the lead at all. Salute Rondo, salute Matthews, salute Darlene, salute everybody that pulled up in the chat. Salute to everybody. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. But yeah, man, like OKC had their way in the paint. Rebounding was close, offensive rebound. We won that. As Sis would say, I don't think we moved the ball enough. We didn't move the ball around enough. I didn't see enough cutting to the basket like we should. I didn't see enough pick and roll movement. I seen a few alley oops, but you know, not as much as I would have liked. Just not getting the stops that we needed. That as well. I don't know, man. It was just a tough game to watch. I'm glad that we were able to like stay close for most of the game, but once the end of that fourth quarter came, it was like that was it. They started hitting shots and trying to like they actually started like we supposed to do, ending games. That I think that's one of our biggest problems is ending games, and or trying to like at least take the lead from OKC was just an impossible task for us today.
Yeah, I think that you're talking about finishing games. I'm just talking about finishing quarters, and
Hmm.
we haven't been doing that consistently at all this season. We've been getting we can have a pretty good quarter for about 11, 11 minutes and 10 seconds. And then the last 50 seconds of a quarter, that can last an eternity. And then for some reason, you got the opposition going on an 8-0 run,
Hmm.
9-0 run, 11 straight, or a 15-2 run. And you're like, we were just winning by 18 5 minutes ago. I just went to go grab a soda or something, and I'm coming back to close the quarter, and now we're only up two or we're down one. Um, that level of consistency is becoming more and more of a detriment to this team.
Yep.
And going into the playoffs, you cannot have, like you were saying, you damn near have to play perfect basketball or limit the amount of mistakes that you made. The Knicks made a ton of them. Fortunately, they didn't have to pay too dearly for them because usually, if you do that against a team like Oklahoma City, that complete and that stacked, that's a 13, 15 point swing in a matter of moments. Fortunately
Right.
for tonight, Oklahoma City was not shooting the ball very well. They were shooting under 50%. They weren't shooting the three at a consistent clip.
Hmm.
Um, they weren't really doing very much other than crowding the paint and making life unbearable for Jalen Brunson, despite the fact that he scored 32. But I'm just trying to figure out what is it that's happening. Is it a timeout? Is it you got to take a leak or something? What's going on in that
Well,
last minute, minute and a half of every period that you can't seem to close that period out with the same momentum and intensity that you'd probably place in the other 10?
I would say there's three things here, maybe more. You got fast break points. We got completely dominated there, 15-4. Not moving the pace, you're not pushing the rock, you're not putting pressure on the defense. None of that. We have four fast break points in this game. Four of them. That was it. That's nasty work. Our bench only had 13 to their 25. We ain't do enough there. Like Jordan Clarkson and Jose, they didn't do enough. And then 18 turnovers, not taking care of the ball. 18 turnovers turned into 21 points for OKC. Those little things right there killed us in this game. Yeah, there was you know, a big difference in free throw shooting, I would say. To 17 to their our 17 to their 34, if I'm
They
not
doubled
mistaken. Or
us. Yeah,
38.
they
38.
doubled us. They had twice as many free throws as we did. They hit more free throws than when
Right.
we took.
They hit 31 to our 13 free throws that we hit. That was a big difference in the game. All that, all those things that I said is really the game right there, bro.
You know what's crazy is that Shea Gildress Alexander by himself went 13 for 16 from the line.
Yeah. And that I already, that's something that we already know is gonna happen. Compared to Jalen Brunson, 2 for 4.
Right.
I mean, we all know what we see here. We all know. Like, I was actually, glad that Mike Brown got his second tech of the day, his second tech of the season. Um, because at this point, it's like, bro, what's going on, man? It's like, it's nasty, bro. It's
So
nasty. So,
so as you can see right there on the screen, we got the standings updated. I mentioned this a little while ago. Boston already has clenched a
yep.
playoff berth. They have
Mm,
not secured the second seed as of yet. They, we're now 2.5, three, three in the loss column. Two and a
mhm.
half games total away from the second seed. And then I wanted to bring this up to you as well because I'm going to pull up the remaining schedule for the Boston Celtics. I mean, you look at theirs, now you look at ours.
Put
Can we?
theirs again. Put theirs again. Wow. That's a tough schedule. Atlanta, Toronto, Charlotte, New York, Orlando. Atlanta, Toronto, Charlotte, New York, Orlando. Yeah, that's tough, bro.
And they do have another game against Miami. I know that just recently, I think I heard something. Because they did beat the Hornets 114-99. When
Hmm.
was this the other day? Um,
Actually, today wasn't it? Today they beat the Hornets.
yeah. So they beat them.
Yeah, yeah,
Tatum
today,
had
yo.
Tatum at 32. Pritchard at 28, and that was without Jalen Brown.
Wow.
So that's crazy.
Yeah.
This is not the situation that you wanted to come into the play heading into this stage of the season with. You did not want this. You did not want to look at the standings and look up. And first of all, you didn't expect Detroit to be this good,
No.
but you didn't expect the Boston to still be contending. And now Jason Tatum is back,
Right.
and the Knicks really have to figure this out. And hopefully, Mike Brown lights a fire into them, does something to show that the show for this because this is nut cutting time.
Mm. And all these teams are playing good. Look at their last 10 games. Detroit is 8-2. Boston is 7-3. We're 7-3. Cleveland is 7-3. Even Atlanta's 8-2. So all these guys are playing really good basketball toward at the right time. You know.
Right. And I mean, if you just this is not the circumstances, this is not the level of comfort that we were all expecting to have, by this stage of the season. Especially when we
Right.
opened the season thinking that it would be, the season that we've all waited our whole lives for, which by the way, it still can. It still definitely can because I mean the season doesn't really start for us and it really count till you get to this point, the NBA playoffs. But this
Wow.
is this is the playoff picture. If the playoffs were to start today, the Boston Celtics would maintain the number 2 seed and await the number 7 seed, whoever that may be. Meanwhile, the Knicks will occupy the 3rd seed and
And
will
play
host
Atlanta.
the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this is a different Atlanta Hawks team. They don't have Trae Young anymore.
Nope.
So
But they got Jalen Johnson, who's a
they do.
problem.
He is a problem. but he's a much more palatable problem. Like we can put up with him for a little
Right.
bit.
Right.
Not like I saw Becca Chosen on Instagram. She was actually asking, "It's like, what did she do in a past life for her to watch NBA on NBC and have Reggie Miller call all those games?" Which I don't understand why that is either. I honestly don't. Why does Reggie Miller calling Knick games? Which, by the
Bro,
way,
that
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, you good.
I want to personally wish, in my opinion, he's the second greatest Knick of all time. But for everyone else, he's the first. Walt Clyde Frazier, very happy, blessed,
But
and
yeah.
and wonderful birth 80, what is it, 81 now? 81st birthday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Congratulations,
Right.
sir. Salute to you. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for still calling Knick games and still, bounding and astounding and all
Right.
those, blazing and trailblazing,
uh,
all. Give me a good Clydeism chat, please. Somebody help me. I'm drowning. I'm so because this neo
styling and profiling.
that's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
Ric
say
Flair.
that. I'll say that for him though, cause he do be styling and profiling. I ain't
He
gonna lie,
does.
he do.
He does.
With his
He definitely
suits.
does. With his suits they're like a hallmark.
Yo,
Dishing and
word.
swishing. That's right, Maddie. Thank you.
Mm-mm.
Because me being a neophyte in comparison, I'm drowning on all the because I confuse some of the things that he says with other colorful language guys, and then of course there's the yogi isms that I still remember to, but um,
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at this, bro, and Cat didn't start going off until the fourth quarter, bro.
there was what, an 8 or 9-0 run. That was all him.
He had 2 points going into the fourth quarter the whole game, bro.
Yep. Um, trying to move it and groove, and thank you, BDP. I honestly do not know what's going on in that aspect because
Wow.
I think we've been saying this over and over and over and over, and every other podcast that I've been on or I've listened to. What is the one thing they're always saying? Hell, even Stephen Kennedy. This is the one time that he's not here, and there he is,
He's here.
and he's always saying that if you get the big bodega going, we win games. If he's the number one option, and I don't understand why he isn't. Yes, they were matchup hunting tonight. They were always looking for the matchup where they get Karl Anthony Towns, in not favorable position, down the stretch. But the fact that they are doing that, and they're not, and they're not exploiting the fact that Cat could have taken Hartenstein to, he could have pulled him out. He could have done everything that you could ask of him, and he could have led the way. He could have been the number one option and had Jalen Brunson work around him. Yes, Jalen Brunson took 22 shots tonight, but he also finished with 32 points. So sometimes the means justify the ends, but not when your starting center who's averaging 20 and 12, and he can easily score 30 on any given night, whether he's working the outside and in. But at the same time, I also kind of feel like in the same respect, Cat's not getting himself into position.
But
He's not
right.
he's not getting himself into position. If he was getting himself into position to score more, he will. But I think that it's a twofold situation, and maybe you can you can help dissect this. It's a matter of Jalen you know, he does deflate the ball because he does do a lot of dribble, dribble, dribble.
Right.
But he's effective with the dribble. So, it's a double-edged sword. But then at the same time, you want Cat to get involved early, but he's not really getting himself in that position. It's like it takes him a period or two to get him to get started. What are your
Right.
thoughts?
I mean, you know, to be honest with you, I think that everybody likes to blame Brunson, 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 but Mike Brown made it clear that you know we were gonna utilize pick and rolls. We were gonna do stuff like that of that nature when it came to just to take pressure off of Jalen Brunson. That's what he said to us. Um, but it's been the complete opposite. We really don't do that. Um, and I don't think Cat really takes advantage of certain situations, like especially when Mitch matches all the time. When you got a guy like Caruso on you. Like that's a mismatch and a half, bro. Like you should be abusing that mismatch. Anybody the size of Caruso, maybe slightly a little taller, with the talent that you have, like you should be abusing these guys. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There is times when I'm like, damn, Jalen, why didn't you make that pass? And that maybe not just to Cat, because I've seen him miss Cat as well. But there's times that I see him miss other guys too. I seen him miss Josh wide open in the 3-point line today a few times. You know what I'm saying? Where Josh could have hit those shots when he was wide open because he was hitting them. You know, so I do think that Cat needs to be way more aggressive. When Cat is aggressive, he can be very unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like I really think that there should be times where Cat needs to be like, "Yo, Cat, feed me the ball. Pause. Give me the rock." I seen Mitchell Robinson tell this dude, "Yo, come over here, get the ball." Like Mitchell Robinson had to tell him, "Yo, right there, stand
There were
right there."
two instances where he did that in tonight's game alone,
Right.
where
So
Cat was calling for the ball. He's like, no, 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 you have to come get it.
right, right. And when I'm watching Mitchell Robinson do that, to me that's a problem, bro. To me that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love Cat. And we on this panel always say that I think that with the first option, I would start early, first quarter, getting him involved, feeding him, because eventually they're gonna start double and triple teaming him and leaving guys wide open, and that's when Cat got that vision. He got the vision. Cat got the vision. Cat is a great passer for a guy his size. You know what I mean? But if we don't feed him the ball early and get him involved early, we're gonna get games like this where he got 2 points almost the whole game, which I think is nasty for a guy that's supposed to be, you know, our second star of the team. This guy should be he should be averaging like at least 15 to 20 shots a game, maybe more, if not, maybe more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, Jalen Brunson was pretty efficient today. I ain't gonna be mad. Like he was 13 of 22 from the field, shot 59%, was 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. So, he was cooking, but at the same time, I think Mike Brown needs to get needs to talk to his point and be like, yo, listen, yo, guys, or not just Jalen Brunson, but yo, guys, let's utilize this pick and roll more. Let's push the pace. When we only have 4 fast break points in this game, why are we not pushing the pace? That's
Well,
another thing that he really he really um um
Emphasized.
emphasized, right? That's the perfect word. He said that we was gonna be a fast team. We were gonna be a fast team. We were gonna move the ball. And that hasn't happened at all this season, bro. We still one of the worst teams in pace this year.
We're actually worse than we were last year.
Right.
That's what's
And then
crazy.
what's crazy is that you got a guy like Tyler Kolek that has that vision on the floor. And you don't utilize him enough. You don't utilize him enough, bro.
I was saying that throughout watching the Charlotte game that the Knicks are so slow and methodical in getting across half court, and then for them to get into the half court set, and all that all that with that, and I mean you're already killing about 14 seconds into that shot clock, and then I started to count how many times certain guys moved, maybe one. So there's a lot of stagnant play that
Hmm.
I'm not liking. And I mean, you know, somebody actually told me that it makes a little bit of sense when you're running a lot of isolation. So that made sense for a guy when for a team that had a player like Carmelo Anthony. That made sense. You're gonna be stagnant. Most of those teams were, and it's it's to be explained that you can have that when it's the fourth quarter and it's within under 5 minutes, and it's crunch time. That makes sense as well. But what about the other 43 minutes of the game? What are these
Right.
other dudes doing?
Right.
And what's crazy is that the guys that are actually still moving, there are two main ones: Josh Hart and Jose Alvarado.
Right.
Everyone else is not moving. Occasionally, you'll get a Mitchell Robinson move, which is I know a lot of people were just talking about. We're not seeing a lot of alley oops. Well, in order for the pick and roll to work, is that after you pick, you have to roll. If you're staying right where the pick was set, then the roll is freaking worthless.
Right.
What are you doing? The, this team has become like so methodical in the way they execute in certain games, especially against younger teams who are getting up. And I mean, this is exactly what happened with Indiana in the conference finals last year.
Right.
That was happening against the Detroit Pistons last year in the playoffs. They were
Pressure.
getting up and down the floor, and for and for some, that's one of the calling cards of Mike Brown when he was the head coach over at Sacramento. Oh well, you got to see how great that De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, they're getting up and down the court, and this guy and that guy, and I'm like, and why they were in the bottom 10 in pace last year, those years. So explain it to me. They may have started in the top 10, but they didn't finish there. So
Right.
something has to be done in terms of that, because you cannot continue to play that slow, methodical Tom Thibodeau style, because that would make sense for a Thibodeau team, because you're going to be, that's kind of where you got to get your breath on the, but you can't continue to do that, especially against teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're not going to be able to do that against the Pistons. Forget trying to do that against the Hawks. You'll get freaking flown out. You get bounced out in the first round, and then this season would have been for nothing.
Right. Right. But Steve, like, you got to remember, Mike Brown said he was gonna take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands to take the pressure off of him, and even have Brunson standing behind the 3 point line, and occasions for him to get more comfortable, wide open shots. But But they were doing all that in the beginning of the season when they had fucking Mikal Bridges bringing the ball up half the time, and then all of a sudden that faded away. So
Yeah, and now you
to
got Josh Hart doing it mostly,
right,
and turning the ball over because he's not a point guard.
he's not a point guard. So like to me, I don't think don't get me wrong. Sometimes it is a player problem, but in these instances, that's a coaching problem, bro. That's a coaching problem. He's not standing by his words at all, and he's doing the complete opposite. Giannis Shea has done everything to make this roster a contender, yet we out here playing slightly better than the whole LA Lakers. Like, what the fuck I be watching since the NBA Cup? I mean, I don't know, bro. Like Mike Brown got it easy compared to what Tibbs had, because at least Tibbs didn't have this kind of bench. Our bench wasn't as talented as this bench, so for us to be like this, it's just weird, bro. Because Cat was having a tremendous season with Tibbs, tremendous,
And that's despite the fact that he got him fired in Minnesota.
right? And he was shooting better from the 3-point line and everything with Tibbs. This season, completely different. I mean, since the All Star break, he's been playing much better.
Since
But
the All Star break, he's is scoring kind of will stay the same. He's still about 23, 24 a night, but his rebounds went up from 8 to 11, more or less. And I am more impressed with his defensive intensity. However, tonight it didn't have that. So let's let's add to the fray real quick. I'm gonna invite my buddy, the one and only Mr. Live from the Bleed Blue Show. What's poppin', baby? How you doing?
What's good, people? What's going
what's
on? What's
going
happening?
on, man? What's goody?
How y'all?
Good, chilling, man. How you?
I'm always well with when I can talk to knowledgeable brothers and sisters about my Knicks, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
Nice, nice.
All right, so quick framework. What were your thoughts of tonight's game?
I mean, like I kind of thought the same way I felt about the first the last meeting we had with OKC, where I, I've kind of got to preface it with how I feel about my Knicks now today, man. Is that we could beat anybody in the league, man, right? But we could get beat too, you know. Like if we're not on our top game, we could get beat, man, and that's the case in both of these out. You know, certain slip ups, certain mishaps, and we'll lose an important game. And I think in keeping with the standards today, we lost.
Yeah, you mentioned the standings. So here they are again. Boston has clinched a playoff berth along with to join Detroit, and the Knicks are now 3 in the loss column with 2.5 games behind the Boston Celtics. We did run over the remaining schedule, and this is the Knicks' remaining schedule. With they're meeting the Houston Rockets on Tuesday night, followed by the Memphis Grizzlies on Wednesday. Then it's nothing but trap games, along with one more meeting with the Boston Celtics. On the flip side, that's the Boston Celtics remaining. They don't have it much easier, but
No.
they making it seem like it's easier because of the results. At Atlanta, at Miami, at Milwaukee, then at home for Toronto and Charlotte, then in New York to close out with New Orleans or Orlando. I'm not really concerned about the Orlando game because that more than likely will be a rest day for everybody. It'll probably be like the third stringers. But that's the playoff picture as it stands right now. How are you feeling about this team heading into the playoffs as the possible third seed, or do you think that we can even make the second seed?
With Boston's schedule, and you know, and maybe this is clouded vision. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I keep on expecting Boston to like lose kind of momentum in me not doing it. Like if the Boston coach don't get coach of the year this year, man, I don't know who should. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think. I mean, besides OKC, if you want to call it that, but like he's done an incredible job in keeping that ship tight, and with Tatum coming back, I thought they was gonna lose a lot. You know, I thought them incorporating like Tatum would have been a hassle, and they would have lost some momentum, but they absolutely positively didn't, man. So I see the Knicks staying at third, man. You know what I'm saying? I love my squad, and I mean anything can happen, but you know, like we are not playing consistent enough ball to overtake that third on just us winning, right? Because you know the trap games bother me more than the ones where we playing, you know, confident competition. Because we again, like tonight, like the last OKC game, we got up for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, little mishaps in there messed our road up on that, but as you can see in the last 5-6 games, man, slow starts, you know, inconsistent ways of scoring, and Brown, and I don't want to blame it so much on Brown as the gameplay, everybody else. There's an inconsistency in getting Bridges and Towns involved, and that's bad with seven or some odd games left in the season. So I believe we, you know, and again, man, let me, you know, again, I love my squad, and I believe we can beat everybody. I believe we at least going to the finals, to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's where I believe I would roll live. But you know, the way they didn't get up for the Hornets, man, was a problem for me. You know, and it was a problem where I was like, okay, if they could beat the Hornets, because they did it with the Pelicans. If you know the way that I was expecting them, I was like, look, you know, another competent team coming in here, we can beat these guys. And again, the way they played that second half, you could easily see that if they would have paid a little bit more attention to Knipple, you know what I'm saying, and you know, and stop that aggressive mismatch crap they was doing, which I don't call it crap. That's 90s ball. That's fundamental basketball. We could have prevailed, but you know, we wasn't ready for that game plan. And we should have. We should have. We seen, you know, Hornets were the best teams, are the best team in basketball since January. So by the numbers. So you know, I'm scared of that. You know, if we could get that short up, a consistent attack plan for Karl Anthony Towns, we should be okay.
All right, so the playoff pictures and according to the standings are right in front of you, and if you could just do me a quick favor, looking at the play-in only. I think I mentioned this before. I don't look at the Western Conference play-in to be of any interest. I think you know, those are just games because they're basically fodder for whoever has to play the Spurs or the Thunder.
Right.
But in the Eastern Conference, that's where the kind of, you know, the competition does get stiff, because you're looking at the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets, and then you're looking at the Philadelphia 76ers and the Orlando Magic.
Right.
How do you see those matchups? And Kev, I'll also ask you again on that one as well, since, you know, now we're up to date. But live, how do you see the play-in tournament as currently constructed?
Oh yeah, well, like right off the rip, I have no confidence in I believe. Okay, is Franz Wagner healthy?
Not even sure.
I think he came back.
Came back, right? And he got about seven games left.
Yeah,
They got
yeah, but they still taking L's.
right. But that playoff thing is a different thing, man. And that physicality is gonna be murder on Embiid, right? They're gonna be able to play him rough. And if he's not ready, if Embiid is not ready, even though they got Paul George back, that's gonna be a hard one for them, man. I think the Magic gonna win that one. I don't have the 76ers beating them. Like I said, man, the Magic is a scary squad, man. And though I know they got that point guard Black too, man. He's ascending too, but I don't think they got him either. So if they don't have him, that might be a problem too. So you know what? I'm gonna say the 76ers. I'm gonna say the 76ers got that one, and the Hornets is not. The Hornets is coming out of that Hornets and Heat joint. I don't see the the way the Hornets is playing like Lions. If it could stay consistent in the playoffs, man. I don't see the Heat beating them.
All right, so
to clarify, Franz Wagner has been injured. Yep.
So and he didn't play in that Raptor game. So
no, they've been losing a lot.
So under Mr. Live's prediction, the Philadelphia 76ers will be the 7th seed going into a matchup with the Boston Celtics, meaning that the Orlando Magic will then, under Mr. Live's idea, the Orlando Magic will then host the Charlotte Hornets in the battle for the 8th seed. Who's winning that one? Who's facing? Who's going to play the Pistons?
If I believe, Jesus. Wow, the Hornets and the 76ers. That's
They played Orlando. The Sixers will go to the Celtics.
I'm gonna tell you this. I think the Hornets would take them. I think the Hornets. So wait a minute. You saying whoever wins the Celtics? I mean the Hornets got to play the 76ers?
So no. So all right. So under Live's prediction, the Sixers would beat the Magic. That would make them the 7th seed, and they'd have to play the Celtics in the first round. They're in. Which would mean, under Live's idea, the Miami Heat will fall to the Hornets in the 9-10 matchup, and the winner of that has to play the Magic in a battle for 8th.
Which I think the Hornets will prevail because the Magic are going into the playoffs right now, losing 7 out of their last 8.
Right.
So, and the Hornets been hot. They really buzzing right now.
Yeah, they just ran into the brick wall that is the Boston Celtics right now.
Yeah. Before that, they were averaging 125 points a game throughout that 4-game winning streak.
Exactly. So
their defense been top. They defense. Sorry, their defense been top 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've been playing really good basketball. So yeah, I think Miami. Definitely think the 76ers and the Hornets are going to be the playing winners.
Which is kind of interesting because I think that the 76ers would be a tough out for the Celtics. They would be. Because I think that they would still win. They just have more talent.
Right.
But I do think that they would be a tough out because you would have to expect Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to keep up with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, which a lot of teams are having a hard-ass time doing. And you got to do that 7 games straight? Nah, bro.
Right.
Tatum's going to sit one of them games. He's like, nah, bro.
Paul George came back, too, so...
Now, you're right too. Paul George just got back from that drug situation.
Yeah.
Now, Av, you said something real interesting about them having to sit Tatum. I didn't equate that in that thinking about the Knicks being able to catch, right? If they sit Tatum, they might lose games,
Yeah.
right? If they take it, because I'm thinking they want to stay at the two. I think they want the easiest possible. And this is Boston I'm talking about. Boston want the easiest stretch to the
Well,
NBA.
I think Boston would want the home. First of all, they would always prefer home court advantage, but I think that in any event, they would prefer to have home court advantage against the Knicks, considering the Knicks have been a horrible road team throughout the season. Even though the Knicks have a victory in Boston, it's still not the same thing. You want that the Knicks are just they've been horrible on the road. Boston has been pretty elite level at home. They might as well continue that stretch. So I think that's the reason why they would want to stay at 2. I don't think they would care either way, because they're overachieving as it is anyway.
Yo, but Boston, if they faced the 76ers, that's gonna be tough, bro.
It is. It is
because the 76ers, man, believe it or not, I mean, you got, like you said earlier, you got Maxey, you got VJ Edgecombe, you got Paul George coming back. He's playing really, really good basketball from what I see. And then if Joel Embiid plays the way Joel Embiid plays, plus that little bench that they got, man, Boston's gonna have their hands full in that first round, and Detroit too. If K don't come back, man, and right now when you got a team playing, peaking at the right time, like the way the Hornets are, man, even Detroit might be in trouble.
You said okay without Cunningham, respectfully, man. Without Cunningham, I don't see them getting out of the second round, no matter who they play. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they might if they f around and meet the Hornets in that first first round, they might not make it out of that.
Right.
I don't know. This is the same team that just whooped the Timberwolves the other night, 109-87.
Timberwolves got the same problems we got, man. Like the inconsistency. Like it's like it's just that they can't get a really good definitive scale line, like we can lose it any day, man. And the same thing with the Timberwolves. Man. I know they're ready to get rid of Randall early.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I would laugh if the Sixers knock off the Celtics in the first round, bro. I that ass would laugh, bro. Because people don't realize how when healthy the Sixers are a fucking problem, man.
Yeah.
They are talented, bro.
They're just never healthy.
They're just never healthy. Like, Maxey's hurt, always hate. I think he just came back, right?
Yeah, he did.
Paul George just came back from that suspension. Joel Embiid is like, you don't know if he's gonna play or not.
Right. And he can't finish a whole game.
Right. Now
we'll find out about that because
Cavs a problem too. Yeah.
Cavs are a problem, but they have a lot of problems. That's something they can't avoid. They have problems.
See, and that's why I say it's wide open, B. Like I'm not worrying about there's no one team in the East that I'm going, right. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? If not multiple problems, they got a problem. Like so the most unstoppable team is to me the 76ers, but Embiid can't stay healthy. If Embiid was healthy, if he was healthy, they would be. We wouldn't even be thinking about them. We wouldn't talk about the Boston like we talking about them right now.
Nah. A healthy Joel Embiid, they be a 1 seed, bro.
Yes,
with a healthy Maxi, a
Yes,
health, you know,
yes, sir.
Paul George not getting suspended, and a healthy Joel Embiid, that team could be a easy one seed, bro.
Or easy, easy,
I don't
easy.
know about that. I don't know
Yeah,
about that. If he were healthy, he would definitely be in the
be a
top five.
problem.
But I don't.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that because um, there's not enough sample size of a fully healthy Philadelphia 76ers team to convince me to say that they would be elite. I don't think they would even be better than the Cavs. They're
Mm.
definitely not better than the Knicks.
No.
And at this point, they're not better than the Celtics, and clearly not as good as the Pistons. But it will be interesting to see what the Pistons do tomorrow night because they play the Thunder tomorrow
Mm.
without Cade. We'll see how they match up well in that one. So, real quick, guys, since we did the East, really quick on the West: Blazers, Warriors, Suns, Clippers. Mr. Live.
Uh, wow. Clippers. I got the Clippers against the Suns.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And wow, this might actually be a good game. I got the Blazers though. I got the Blazers against.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I picked two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got.
The re-
That's a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
here's here's how I look about the West. Honestly, doesn't really fucking matter. They're both going to be out in the first round.
Right.
And secondly, I mentioned this before, and I'm going to say it again. I've learned to not count out any team that has Steph Curry on their team.
True.
Never
That's true.
bet against that man.
True.
That man, even as we speak right now, this nigga could be probably taking a shit at this very moment. Pause, and he can be still in scoring position.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's out. I think he's out though, right? He's hurt.
He's still
He's
in
hurt
scoring
now.
position.
Yeah, he's still out.
Still in scoring position. I don't think that man has a range. I think this dude
Yeah.
can shoot it from anywhere and get it.
Yeah, they saying
Pause.
he'll be reevaluated next week. So
Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
I still don't have enough faith in the Blazers for me to say that that they would beat the Warriors. But then again, you know, this is not the same Warriors of old or any unless you have Curry in that game. Maybe if they still had Butler, maybe I would it would be more definitive. But I still feel that he's still going to make it. He's going to make it back right in time for the playoffs. He's going to kiss those Blazers goodbye, and it'll be over before before it gets started. And in terms of the Suns and the Clippers, I don't think it really matters, to be honest, because they're just fodder for the Spurs and the Thunder anyway.
Right.
mm,
Right about that. Right about that.
But this should be an interesting last couple of weeks.
mhm.
How are you guys seeing? Do me a favor and call the next 7 games. How are we finishing the season? Kev,
Um,
you lead off this time against Houston, against Memphis, against Chicago, at Atlanta, against Boston, Toronto, and Charlotte. 4 and 3,
All right.
3 and 4, 5 and
If
2.
we if we play our A game, right? If we play our A game, we can win 6 out of the next 7 games.
mm, mm.
We can, right? If we play our A game. If not, we probably could go 4 and 3.
4 and 3. You preface this. It's if we play our A game.
Right.
Given that the Knicks have been playing the way they've been playing, survey says.
Right.
Mr. Live.
Yeah, I got it. I got us going 5 and 2 on that. You know
5
what
and
I'm saying?
2. So
I got
where are the two losses?
Hornets and you said somebody else. Could you hit me?
It was Houston, Memphis, Chicago, Atlanta, Boston, Toronto, Charlotte.
Boston and Charlotte. Boston and Charlotte.
So
right now, mind you, right? Let me say this. If we go on a streak, if we win that first 4, we might could do the whole 7. And I say this reason. If we hit that first 4, then the team got to go to get to that last game with Boston, right? And to quote my man, the Hispanic Furious Warrior, Knickerbocker Ave, they might sit Tatum. I haven't thought about that this whole time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they pushing my man coming off of the Achilles, man. You know what I'm saying? Or CDL. I forgot what those is.
it's Achilles.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, if we hit that first 4 or 5 and we got a streak going on, I think that might be able to focus us, man, and win the next 3. Right? And then we get to that Boston game, and that Boston game, that's a playoff game.
Yep.
If it means something, it's a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And Missoula, he's gonna keep everybody in, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he want to play it safe and do us a favor and take him out, do that. But I don't think he'll do that.
No,
because I think his positioning will be just as important.
I don't think that they'll sit Tatum for that. Right now, Jaylen Brown didn't play tonight, and Tatum hit 32. But I don't think that they'll do that because I think that he needs more reps. He's going to need more playing time, and that would be opportune time for them. Because I mean, if you again looking at the Boston schedule, they may not need any of these. But I don't think Boston needs any of these except for the New York game. They don't really need any of these.
So you saying they probably start sitting people not now, right?
They might. I mean, Brown missed today. I don't know why, but they might start sitting guys out soon. So we will soon see. But it should be interesting to see what the next couple of weeks are. And it's been can't wait for the playoffs start because maybe this this roller coaster Jekyll and Hyde New York Knicks team season can be put to bed, and the time that matters the most can begin, and we can start really realizing something that none of us have ever seen. Miss Alive, you've seen it though, but
yeah.
I've never seen it.
No,
Kev's never seen it.
Never seen it.
Me and Kev are the same age, so we've never seen it. And so
now you talking about a championship, or you
we seen that? We seen the NBA Cup though, but that's it.
We saw the Sippy Cup. That's it.
We saw the Sippy Cup.
I was a little too young for they chips. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I got an old face and an old soul, but you know what I'm saying? I was a little too young for their first and second chip. But I am a '90s Knick. You know what I'm saying? And even though this run rivals the '90s right now, it's not it don't equal it. It just rivals it. But we've done more in this run than the '90s Knicks. I hate to say that because that's my squad. Those are my squads right there. But I'm right there with you guys in being so invested into this year and hoping that, and to have point, man, I hope the playoffs can bring a new focus to the team, because I think that's all that's given us these losses. These losses is us not being focused. When we focus, we the best team on the court in any game. You know what I'm saying? And again, you know, that focus, I believe would happen with, you know, these next couple of games and then the playoffs. So I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping that happens.
Right. Well, time will tell. Time will definitely tell. What will happen with these New York Knicks between now and April 12th when they play the final game of the season? Shit, we don't even know what's going to happen between now and Tuesday night when the Knicks head to Houston to take on the Rockets. Start time of that game is what, 8 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8 p.m. on Peacock, and more than likely that will be another Reggie Miller commentated game, which I still don't understand why that is. I mean, he's not a bad commentator. It's bad juju, man. It's just bad juju.
Yeah. No, he should not be doing Knicks games. I don't understand the dynamic of that. I'll tell a small story, man. When I used to work in at Polo Ralph Lauren, Polo Sport, actually right across the street from the mansion. Reggie Miller came in there, and I thought he was the tallest cat I ever saw in my life. Very, very, very lanky, very tall. And I just wanted to say one thing to him, and I wanted to go, "Why don't you shop down on 34th Street, you bitch ass nigga?" Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to, and I was getting ready into it until the security guard, which was my man, and he saved my job. He was like, "John, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing to him. Don't say nothing to him. You're gonna lose your job." And I was like, "Yeah, just what?" Because he already knew. He already knew I wanted to confront him. But I hate Reggie Miller, man. Well, Reggie Miller is right up there with D'Antoni and Charles Smith, like them three. Like huge motherfuckers, real big. But I smack the crap out of any one of them if I see them. Hate them dudes. So I don't know why. It's antagonizing that he reports on these games, man. He's a commentator on these games. I hate Reggie Miller.
So Reggie Miller, Mike D'Antoni, Charles Smith.
Most hated.
I can see why. And you know, I can't be mad at that. I can't.
Most hated. Charles Smith, man. Charles Smith had the gall, the nerve to average 20 points when we traded his bum ass.
You could add Pat Riley too.
See, him along with Van Gundy, like I have a hard time hating. I don't know why. Right? Like Pat Riley, I can see. Right? The old Heat rivalry, you know what I'm saying? You're a fucking traitor, you know, all of that. I see that.
Like even John Starks when he's like in the finals having a terrible shooting night.
Okay, so let me add this to that, right? You know what I'm saying? I used to think about but Starks had led the whole NBA in 3 points made in the playoffs. Y'all know that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he made the most threes in now I don't know did he shoot the most, but he made the most threes so is 2 for 18 bad? Yes, right? But I believe you leave it on the court. You know what I'm saying? And as mad as I am for that, I'm not. That's not one of John Starks. I don't hate John Starks for that. You know. Oh, I don't hate for giving that man the green light. I kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? Because he was our best 3-point shooter, man. Even though I thought Harper could have shot more 3-pointers, he was the cat that wanted to shoot them. And I mean, y'all got to remember too, man. The '90s teams, man, they were CDL players, man. I mean, they D League players.
Yeah.
They were D League players, man. They got John Starks out of the D League. They got, if I'm not mistaken, they might have got Mason out of the D League. Right?
CBA, yeah.
Yeah, CBA, right. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole bunch of those guys were rough and tumble, makeshift, Dave Checkers ain't want to spend no money kind of cat. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Pat Riley got them to the finals with a rough and tumble, what I believe the Pistons is doing today.
You know what's crazy, and I know we're getting late, but a quick story about something I found out about John Starks. John Starks was meant to be cut in 1991 or 1990.
Yeah.
But because he got injured, his contract became somewhat of a guaranteed contract where they couldn't trade him. And then when roster cuts came around, they couldn't cut him.
Wow.
And so they kept him around. When then he rehabbed and came back, something along the lines of his contract got then more or less guaranteed for the rest of the season. He started to get playing time under Riley, and then that's what led him to having the career that he had. I did not know that until recently.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't. That's the first time I'm hearing about that.
But the thing about it is, like, people would talk about John Starks is like, we almost didn't get him, and it was just by fate and circumstances that we ended up with him in that time frame. Mm-hmm. But if I have to say, the three most hated people I have in in terms of like Knicks history,
mm-hmm.
Number one has to be Isaiah Thomas.
Wow. Okay. You got to explain that. But yeah, continue.
He destroyed our team.
Yeah.
He set us back years. And
well, you saying, okay, right.
Yeah.
Why I didn't remember that, Ab? I'm sitting there bugging. Like, why is it? As a GM, yeah, he was pretty bad.
And to be honest, the way he handled the coaches was horrible. I mean, from Don Chaney to Lenny Wilkins to Larry Brown, the way he handled those situations, it's one of the few times that I ever feel sorry for James Dolan, because that's money that was thrown out.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on Lenny Wilkins, man. We had a winning season that year. Like, we won 32 games, man. I mean, that might not sound like a whole lot, right? But I think we was in the team the year before or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Lenny Wilkins did a great job. Like, he did a great job, and he fired him the next year.
So yeah, so Lenny Wilkins would have been should have been done better. So obviously Isaiah Thomas would be number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Miller would have to be number two.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for number three, it's kind of hard, because there are times where I say it's Dolan. There are times where I say it's Steve Mills. There are times where I say it was Don Nelson, or
wow.
You can go down the line of bad NBA coaches that the Knicks have had over the last 20 years, and you can pinpoint. So I have two definitively. One that I'm like, it depends, because there are times where I even hate Knicks players. Like, I couldn't stand Mike Sweetney. I couldn't stand Jared Jeffries. I couldn't stand John James. I couldn't stand them on the team.
And don't forget the Bogdani.
I couldn't stand Andrea Bargnani. I couldn't stand the Antonio McDyess trade. I could not stand. I mean, we can go on and on.
Wait, yo, Av, real quick, did you remember the preseason he had?
You mean the one game? that one game against the
25 a game, man.
well,
He's averaging 25 points a game. I think he played 2, Av, if I'm not mistaken. You might be right. You might have been.
it was the
But
one. It was the one game. It was the
I
one
know.
game. He had the superstar freaking athletic ESPN dunk, and then
Right.
when he came down, busted his knee and didn't play the rest of the season.
Didn't play the rest.
Steve, Av said number 1 was Isaiah Thomas, Steven. So yeah,
All right.
he did mention Isaiah Thomas number 1.
Y'all gonna hate me for this, right? The reason I forgot Isaiah Thomas is because I look at Isaiah Thomas' tenure a bit different, not a lot different, but a bit different. The squad that he had comprised, man, were very talented brothers, man. They just couldn't get it together. They was all knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to get the count. And
David Lee, David Lee and those guys, Nate Robinson, all those.
Very good. Now he had a lot of talented people, man. But again, to Q Rich didn't want to listen to nobody. Crawford was an alpha player all over the place. He was our best player, right?
Right.
Marbury was a superstar in his own mind, right? And only passed it to Jake Vogel and Mike Sweeten. You know what I'm saying? He was averaging, and he was the third best point guard in the league when he said that dumb crap. I'm the best point guard in the league. He was a top point guard, but it was a very empty 20 and very empty 20 and 8. Couldn't do it, man. So and in that, man, I just sometimes I believe like those squads just didn't work. So absolutely right about Isaiah Thomas, man, but I don't look at it as bad as the job that Dan Tony did. Dan Tony he had Jared Jeffries shooting threes.
I mean, I think that throughout all those years, we just couldn't find that Tom Thibodeau kind of coach to lead out to build with our team, and I don't think our front office had the IQ.
That's right.
Or even knew how to put a team together
Well, see,
properly. You know what I mean? Or they did like put some good young talented guys together, but they couldn't really find the right coach to mesh with those kids.
Here's the thing. They kind of stumbled on that in 2012 when the Knicks won 54 games under Mike Woodson.
Yeah.
And then what happened the following season? Glenn Grunwald wanted to re-up the entire coaching staff. Management said no. Then Glenn Grunwald himself got fired. And then you had Mike Woodson having to to coach this team essentially by himself.
Mm-hmm.
With a skeleton crew of a coaching staff. They didn't make the playoffs. Stoudemire almost never returned. Melo was out there to do it himself.
Yeah.
They missed the playoffs. Then they fired him. No, actually, no. They hired Phil Jackson, and then he fired him to replace him with fucking Derek Fisher.
Phil Jackson was terrible. I ain't gonna lie. I agree with Steven. I agree with Steven, man. Steven is right. Phil Jackson number 2. Word.
Yeah, he up there, man. For me, he up
there. Word.
He's on my list, man.
Didn't he hire Jeff Hornacek?
Yes,
was it him? Yes, he did.
Right after him.
Yo,
so remember, he had Derek Fisher. When Derek Fisher wanted to get away from the triangle, he fired him. Had fucking Kurt Rambis be his interim.
Oh my god!
And then he wanted to keep Kurt Rambis full time. Dolan told him no, so they went ahead and hired Jeff Hornacek. And then once Phil had got his paycheck and his walking papers, Jeff Hornacek was done as soon as the second that dude got off the plane, he was fired.
Yeah, that's funny.
He was
That's
horrible.
when we lost out on Steve Kerr to the Warriors.
No, we lost out to him before that because that's why they went with Fisher.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
I thought it was Steve Kerr. No, yeah, you're right. It was Derek Fisher. Right.
Phil
And
Jackson.
then Steve Mills, who I swear is the dumbest basketball mind.
Oh, see, he hired Derek Fisher, Jeff Hornacek, and Kurt Rambis.
Well, Kurt Rambis was already there. Kurt Rambis was the assistant.
Coach. Right.
And the only reason why he wanted that was because he wanted somebody who first of all that he could trust and control, because that's the only because he coached under him. Right. He can he coached for him when he was in Los Angeles, but that is neither here nor there. But that's memory lane, folks. If you like, please feel free to hit us up in the comments and let us know who are your three most hated people in all of Knicks history. You can go as far back as possible. It could be current players, former guys, whoever it is. But we will be back on Tuesday night when the Knicks take on the Houston Rockets. But until then, shout out to Mrs. Knicks, wherever she is. I know she's mad as hell driving through Oklahoma City, going back home. Shout out to the boss man, Tea Time. I know he's working. Shout out to the Parlay Lord. Shout out to every one of you for joining us. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you, and of course, all of you on the replay gang. Thank you so much. Be sure to hit like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification button so that way you get notified every time Knicks and Ish comes on. And if you haven't already done so, copy yourself some merch right there in the Knicks and Ish Shopify. Copy yourself a Knicks and Ish hoodie, a mug, a cognac glass. Hook it up, man. Sharing is always caring. Continue to support the channel. We are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. The fact that we haven't gotten there yet is still irritating the shit out of me. Because we were on some crazy momentum. We had like 100, 150, 200. It just stopped. But until then, until Thursday night, from Mr. Live, thank you so very much for joining us. For the co-host, Mr. Kev Yatu Sabe, I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Avenue, saying keep on talking that ish, New York. And Kev, you got to do it.
Hit that outro.
Boom shakalaka! The Knicks are grit. These kids and our party ain't just lit. Bet it's the littest. You know we lit. You know we lit. You know we lit. You know we lit. Turn up, no we lit.